Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So we're going to have a little discussion today about a message that came through and some cards that I was pulling out just in my own personal time. And I know I typically will pull out cards on camera, and that is generally how I do like to do that. But sometimes when I'm just kind of, to say anything, maybe just experimenting, starting to get comfortable with even just a new deck of cards, that I do that in my own time. But when a message comes out that is just so profoundly big, and just feels like maybe even it's just a message that the entire collective, like humanity, needs to hear at this time, just to kind of remember the broader perspective of this existence that we all encompass here. So basically you can picture me, I'm sitting in my bed in my pajamas. I'm playing with this beautiful deck that I just received. When did I get it? Today is Sunday. I think like Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember now. It's the same creator of, I know some of you have seen me using the Lace of Destiny Oracle deck that I really like as well. By Anya. Oh, she spells it different here than how I've seen it. Anya. Anyways, I'm going to have a link. There's going to be a link. I contacted her because I got this through a Kickstarter campaign that I was supporting her with and so it's created now. I got it. And but it's on her Etsy. So I'm going to share that link below if any of you are interested in this deck. I was first introduced to this deck. I saw, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting her name? From beautiful tarot reader from Eye of the Serpent Tarot, that she was supporting this and, asking others to support it. And I clicked on it and drew me in. I just felt like I fell into these cards, and I was immediately whisked away into some sort of like time and energy and messages. It was crazy. So I've had like just a little bit of a personal back and forth conversation with Anya, and I don't know, I feel like she made the deck for me, but I feel like we're somehow connecting. It's really weird. So anyways, we're going to talk about the message that came out, but this deck is profound to say the least. So I got the deck just kind of around the time things started to happen in a really sort of scary and uncomfortable and terrifying way around the world. And I thought to myself, instead of just asking questions about me, well, actually I had some friends asking to ask questions, in terms of, is everything gonna be okay? Are the kids safe? And those kind of things. So I was pulling cards, and the answers, it wasn't just like it comes out and says, yeah, everything is fine. It gives you the details about why you need to understand it's fine, and kind of look at your perspective and see, yeah, okay. So I thought, wow, these cards really do talk. So I've been pulling out some cards privately about some of the things that have been going on right now. And just mind-blowing information that I really actually don't feel comfortable talking about on YouTube, but I have been thinking, I feel like this information should be shared in some way. I've debated even in the last couple of days about creating a Patreon or something for these kind of messages that come through, that unfortunately a lot of people get tied up so politically in the topic, but unfortunately politics encompasses almost every aspect of human life at this point. So if I'm like not going to talk about something where politics is involved, I'm basically not talking about almost nothing. Nothing left to talk about. But anyways, so I'm not going to go down that road. The road that I want to go down is, so last night I'm sitting in bed and I'm just relaxed. I thought, I picked up the deck again and I'm going to shuffle some cards out, and I just thought to myself, I thought, where is humanity going? Like, where are we going? What is the trajectory? And that is the basis really of this question that I asked, is what is the trajectory of mankind at this point now? Where are we standing? And so two cards flew out of the deck. It is a big deck. There's 1 2 3 cards. Oh, I like that. Anya, 1, 2, 3 cards. There's 123 cards in the deck. So the message came out, and it was Compass and Yule. And you'll see there's going to be a lot of the cards on the, for you to see in this. We're going to really focus on the cards. I'm going to edit this so you're, for the most part, looking at these cards as we talk about the messages. And I just wanted to go into them a little bit more in depth because I did share it on my community channel, the post. But there's only so much that I can really write. But so Compass and Yule came out. And I explored that message and I thought, my God, that's beautiful. This doesn't, like, how is that? It doesn't feel like it's beautiful, but I guess it is right now. But then I looked at the underline, and at first, you know me, the underline, I'm like, oh my gosh, this underline is so big. It's crazy. But then when I really looked at it, it was telling me such an in-depth story that I feel like I could even at a point in this identify where humanity was kind of sitting right now. So I could see where we had come from, where we were, and where we were going. And like, even just looking at the spread right now, I would say that, well, and I guess it's, yes, the story of humanity. There's parts of it that I don't quite understand towards the last, after the Aquarian period. And it is a little bit, I guess, quiet at that point in the story. Information is lacking, and perhaps it's just not time for it. But I would say we're not even really halfway through the story of humanity. But yes, so I'm sure by now I've got it on the screen. You're looking at the underline. So the first card in that, well, so you understand, when I look at an underline, like the first card that I would have seen was the Tower. And then I just keep exploring beyond that, underneath each card, until I come to a card that's in reverse. And then that tells me that's the end of the story, to stop there. So I think I stopped somewhere around book. I was like, oh my God, this is going on for too long. And I was about to put the deck down, and then something told me, listen to the deck, listen to the cards. So I picked it up again, and I put all the way, it took me all the way to Talisman, and that's where the journey started. And then I felt like, wow, this is quite significant. This is where it really, and it could almost even describe Talisman as, I want to say, the point in time where consciousness, human consciousness, is kind of birthed, outside of being just very primal and instinctive, and the struggle in that. So I do want to, okay, what I'm going to do is, for people that are coming to this reading and want to kind of get a quicker idea, a Cole's Notes version of what this explanation is for the trajectory that mankind is on, and where we've been, where we are, and where we're going to get there. I'll do the Cole's Notes, and then I'm going to get into like the details of it. So I know not everyone may want to sit through, I don't know how long this is going to be, if it's a 40 or 50 minute video, but so let me do that. Let me do this video in that way, and then yeah, everybody's happy. So Compass and Yule. So obviously, like, it's, to me, it is if with Compass, this is the trajectory. This is where, I don't know why I'm holding this up, because you're probably going to be looking at it on the screen. This is where we are, in a sense, going. The compass. This is basically about, you know, mankind's ability through this conscious awakening to start trusting. I want to say with the compass, there's already a trust has been formed. The trust has been solidified with the compass actually appearing. Trusting guidance, trusting mentors, starting to trust intuition. And at this point, I feel like the destiny, the path has been set. It's the compass, like the heading has been logged in, and this is where we're going. And so even when I say that, like, to me, it's the sense of immunity has been created. Like, once you've ascended to a certain level, or you become consciously aware, or you make certain choices, you do not backstep. in those. So, right, so this compass has been set in this direction. And we're heading there. We're going there. And where is that? So it's Yule, which is the winter solstice, but it's really interesting when you sort of think about it. And I went into the book, obviously, because I've just gotten this deck. And there's so many layers here that I could see me unpacking this deck and the messages for years. Like just through the artwork and the meanings that Anya already has with these cards. But it is basically the rebirth of the sun, the return of the light is where we're heading. I mean, it was just so profound and so beautiful. I thought, my God, this is the message of where we're going. And then looking at what was to be unpacked on how we get there, I really started to understand why I needed to look at every card in the underline. It's honestly like heaven and earth meet, the energies are unified. You know, anything that is polarized becomes unified. The dark and the light come into balance. Yeah, that's where we're going. So that, I mean, and it's just such a simple message. When I thought, okay, well, that sounds nice. Are we really? How is that? Doesn't feel like it some days. And then, so that's when we get into what I call the backstory, the underline, which is so much bigger than the end destination, right? And it always is, isn't it? You know, you pack up the car and you get the kids loaded, you get all of the stuff in the car, and you know, you could just be going away for a long weekend and you'll get to that destination, but along the way, oh, you see a turtle trying to cross the roads. Everyone gets out, try, what, the turtle, what? Don't touch it, wait. You know, like there's all these adventures that can take place. And even just within the car itself, people start talking, family starts talking, what's been going on with you. There's so much that can be discovered and unpacked in the journey itself. Not to forget that the journey itself is just as important, if not as important as, or even more important perhaps. Without the journey, there would be no destination. So the journey, it starts at the talisman. This to me really signifies sort of the point where divine supernatural support starts to come in to guide humanity. I mean, I even picture sort of monolithic energy with the talisman. And but this is when you become consciously aware. Like I can almost see like the point here of Adam and Eve, and the biting of the apple is sort of like the monolith, the conscious awakening, the recognizing that they are naked, seeing the things that they do. It's literally, isn't it? It's going from a mind of purely just in animals that is based on nature and instinct, and then having consciousness sort of awakened, impregnated, infused, and then these two struggling. I mean, that to me is what it feels like this becomes, right? The story of humanity is these two energies now struggling, because the animal, the nature, the Larry, all right then, the Larry has come onto the table here. If you lay on the spread, I won't remember where we are. Okay, thank you. That is very good, Larry. Very good. That struggle with the conscious mind, recognizing that, yes, when I kill an animal and eat it, I've taken a life here. And learning to come to terms with that. So the talisman too can also, I feel like, kind of represent, you know, points in human history as well, where, you know, energies, people, messiahs, Jesus, Buddha, the gamut of that energy has come down to either further guide, clarify, help produce this conscious awakening. Keep pushing for it. Don't fall back into where it was before. Now, I see the card that comes next is the scythe, which it's a scary looking card, isn't it? And I mean, Anya even talks about it. She doesn't, what I really like about this deck that she's created, she doesn't hold back. There's cards in this deck that are downright, oh my God, this is like not a good card. But that's kind of like how life goes sometimes, right? So, I've sort of described it as, right, dangerous situations unfold around mankind. Physical, emotional, and psychological pain becomes the crisis, becomes the immediate situation. And because there is this conflict, there is now this internal conflict where we go back and forth all the time between what we feel is right and what we feel we need to do, what we want to do, what we need to do, and trying to be able to discern all of these different ideas, energies, emotions. And this is actually, the scythe to me is the death of the karma that we, like, I feel like there's a long period of time that goes between the talisman and the scythe. It is to bring down this karmic energy. Larry, you gotta fly, baby. Mwah! I can't see the cards if you're laying on them, honey. There's choices that, if they were made swiftly in the right direction, it would change everything, but they're often not with the scythe. And these choices can pull us further back. This is honestly, like, it feels like there's a period of time here in humanity's journey where there's a step forward and there's 2 steps back. And then there might be a period of time where there's a couple steps forward and then there's a step back. So, but then we go into the labyrinth. So again, I don't want to sit too long on each card. I want to kind of give you a quick Coles Notes version of it as fast as it could possibly be. And then we're going to really go into depth with it. The labyrinth is the maze that seems impossible to find your way out of, right? Like, it's constantly twisting and turning. It's not a straightforward path. It's just impossible to be that. And why? Because you cannot come out of the labyrinth hoping to find the exit into the sun. It's honestly, like, it really to me is describing the part where it's the light within man's heart. It's kind of like Dorothy in the ruby red slippers. You always had the power within you. It was never really outside of you, which is a story that we've heard so many times, which I found so fascinating with these cards is when I look at it and see how it plays out, I mean, you can see how this resonates in so many teachings that we've already heard. So I do feel like it just kind of also reassures us that, yes, this is the story that is being told and this is how it shall unfold. Then we go into the dark. I want to call her the Dark Rider. There's 2 riders in this deck. The first one is a man, and he's light-haired on a white horse. And I'm just looking at the book again. This is purity, tranquility, freedom from obstacles. The rider is going in that direction. Now, but because this is the Dark Rider, right, these could be things that are concerning in regards to the past. These could be romantic experiences. These are things that we have trouble letting go of, is what the Dark Rider symbolizes. It is moving forward, but it is sort of on a path that has not been fully alchemized. But it's almost as if I'm picturing the Knight of Pentacles in the Light Seer's Tarot. Or no, the Good Tarot. Is it Yes, the Light Seer's Tarot, where they walking forward with the horse and dropping all these pentacles along the way. Like, that's kind of the alchemy that is taking place here. The alchemy, like, once the light is seen within one's own heart, then you are on target, right? Because that is the next card that comes in. But there is still a sense of alchemy that is needed for the past. But then when we get to the target, it is like, bang, it's almost like it hits it so hard and so fast. Like, literally, you look at the card and there's sparks flying off of that. It's as if momentum picks up. So I feel like with the rider, with the symbolism of the horse, even perhaps there's even something there, speaking of Sagittarian energy as well. It's actually quite interesting, right? Because there is both, combining that to me is very Sagittarian, and the Yule is very that's interesting too. Capricorn Sagittarius energy sort of coming in there, isn't it? It feels very cuspy. And then into Aquarius. Like, you could just see how even timelines are sort of described here. Like, I feel like I could look at this and spend quite a while just unpacking all of the information that's hidden and trying to be shown. All right, so, okay. the Beltane. This is a really interesting, this is so beautiful, because once we hit the target, what happens? I mean, when you think about Beltane, this is the celebration, and this is the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. This is a period of time that is described as the veil being very, very, very thin here, where things are properly seen, are truly seen, beyond all of the dark energy that we've walked out of. So I thought, wow, that's just really, really beautiful. It kind of had this feeling to me like magic is reborn. The magic that was lost, or the magic that has been trying to be manifested, materialized here, does. And then this takes us to the book. And this, to me, I felt a lot like, well, when I looked at this, I saw someone pulling a volume off of a bookcase. And that's kind of what I think I wrote in the in my community channel. Like, what on the community portion of my channel is this a new chapter? No, I mean, I distinctly felt like somebody pulling out a whole new volume here. And in this book is the next chapter of mankind, after, like, when duality, right? Duality has united and things are not dualistic anymore. Things are not polarized. They kind of become whole. This is, the wine is celebrating this. This is a period of great celebration. Joy. It's also a period of exploring the passions, the desires, the joy, the indulgence, the fulfillments that the conscious mind, the uplifted conscious mind, would have struggled with against the polarity, right? Because the animal mind would be like, this is very animalistic. These joys, these pleasures, these fulfillments, they are not divinely driven. But this is like to see that it is all divine. It is all divine. So I feel like there is a period of great, at the approach of the Aquarian period, which I've looked into this quite a bit. I feel like the dawn, like the beginning of our cycle in Aquarius, is about 200 years away. I mean, it's a very debatable subject, but just my own research in it, that's kind of where I've concluded with it. So, and then just sort of on the cusp of this, it is almost an enjoyment of pleasure. Like, life becomes pleasurable without guilt, without shame, without hate, without anger. Everything, it's almost like these things are regularly and easily alchemized. Now, what I thought was so fascinating with Aquarius is the coffin comes in. This is the part here where I feel like there's something distinctively different from, I don't know, anything. I haven't really actually found anything like what is man's, or spent any time trying to understand what is man's next leg of the journey. You know, what is the Aquarian period going to be? This is not something that I felt that any sort of familiarity with, and I just had to kind of let it go. And the more I look at the cards, the more I understand. Like, if you look at the coffin and the balloon, there's not some sort of symbolism going on there of like a body being put to rest and sort of the journey to, I don't know if you would call it heaven or some sort of other place, like it literally, like elevated to another place. I just thought the symbolism in that was extraordinary, how those two cards followed each other. Like, so at the end of Aquarius, and these are about 2,000 year long periods, give or take, give or take. Let's say we're looking at somewhere between 2,500, 3,000 years. There's something that happens here that I see where there's either a great ascension of souls, or all souls ascend, and they go to this almost like a higher place. But you know what I find quite interesting is this is also about like Mabon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. The Mabon period here, the fall equinox. It is a time of thanks, right? It is a time of receiving the bounty. And it does, I want to say it could also even be like and maybe these timelines aren't even right. Like maybe this is not showing, maybe it's only showing me Aquarius. And then at some point far beyond that, the coffin balloon and Mabon will take place. But I'm almost seeing too, with this is like the shifts in our own sun's solar activity. And then life on Earth not being possible anymore, but giving thanks to Earth. Is this something that just happens in terms of a soul's journey and our souls leave this stratosphere, leave this area that we're in, like where our souls have been growing and learning, and ascend to another reality, another dimension? Or is there something that takes place in the physical here for the actual body, embodiment of mankind? Something I want to say maybe even perhaps more Star Trek-like, you know, where there is like exploration that is taking place beyond Earth. But there is some sort of sense of closure here, is there not? Like looking at these cards and ascending. But I really do feel like it is in some way leaving Earth. But what is so interesting is then the Tower comes in, this Tower card. And the Tower symbolizes great change, right? If I was to look at it in terms of the tarot, but I also look at it in terms of, do you see how it's a little bit reflective of the balloon card with the this high kind of cliff, but it is eroded and it is not a full castle anymore. It has almost become a place of isolation. And it is like, that's where the story stopped. I didn't want to push it. I thought I just need time to absorb this. Further down, I may ask questions about where this goes after the Tower. But when I looked in the book that Anya had with this, it is basically like a period of darkness and isolation that does occur here, but I feel like it's preparing for a new journey. And I started to see like I don't remember I started to see it as much as the birthing card in the Return of Spirit Oracle deck, the birth canal, that dark period, the pressure that one feels. It like this Tower card made me feel that somehow, like it was like the darkness before the birth. And what is that? I don't know. It's almost like that was held back. It was just, that's all you need to know right now. That's the Cole's version. Cole's version of, yes, what this is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the book and I'm going to kind of read little excerpts of each of these cards. And again, I'd like you to, I'm going to show you the artwork and you can kind of see the imagery. And some of you may even get your own downloads from this deck. Like I was looking at this at like 10:30 at night on the bed with just a lamp beside me. And yeah, so I'm actually going to, at this point, I'm going to look at the talisman. There's something so odd. Like this message that I'm getting with this talisman, it is bringing me in the Eye of Sauron. So the only time I ever experienced something like the Eye of Sauron for myself was I was pulling cards. This is a few years ago, and it was in regards to the pandemic. And I was pulling some cards, and I started asking some questions, and I started getting, again, sort of like profound answers that were so, like you could see the pattern of what was going on, and then you could see how the cards were sort of talking. And I suddenly became very uncomfortable. Like, and the best way I could describe it is like when Frodo would put the ring on his finger and all of a sudden the Eye of Sauron would like light up, and it was looking like, okay, whoa, he's coming to our realm. Who's that? Where are they? Like, it just felt like that. And I was like, whoa. And I was doing this too. There was a couple other like tarot readers involved. Well, not like in my house with me, but I was I told them I was going to do this, and I would post it to my channel, but do it unlisted, right? And I did that, but I did not keep it up for long, and I deleted it because I could not shake this feeling of like the Eye of Sauron trying to look in on me and see who was asking this question. So that's kind of an experience that I had too, where I've been a little bit apprehensive sometimes about asking certain questions. And I want to say maybe it's okay sometimes to ask these questions for yourself, but when you're asking them too on a level of collectiveness, I feel like there's something there. And I wanted to describe it too, that honestly felt like other psychic energies that were being utilized by what I would describe as perhaps controlling or darker forces here to make sure other psychics were not trying to get this information. Like, it was just like, it really was weird. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever experienced. And I did a cleanse. I deleted the recording of those card pullings off of my device. I deleted it off my channel after the other readers had seen it. And I was like, damn, doing that again. But I'm getting something about this talisman. So that's also interesting with the scythe coming in. So now I'm channeling. I'm not even going into the book, because this is now bringing me the persecution of with the talisman and the Sith, the Sith, the talisman and the Sith. It's as if the, those that have come down to speak of, to help to raise consciousness and awareness and spread love, have often been persecuted and killed and murdered. So that's coming in like that too right now. And then that is like finding man finding him herself in the labyrinth. And is that a story in itself as well here? That this talisman to me is symbolizing those that have come down to teach, to help man elevate his consciousness. But this kind of like the symbol, the Eye of Sauron in here, finding them and seeking them. And even sort of like in sort of biblical terms. I mean, that is a story that is just told over and over again often, isn't it? And to be sought out and scythed and ended. And then, so I want to say, is that then is it apparent to the heavens, to universal energies, that the only way through is for man to find it? The little bit of light that has been shone through is going to have to be enough, or it was just enough. And then it's just enough to put the seed in man's heart and to go through this labyrinth, trying to find the light, Damn, Dorothy, you had it with you all the time. Right? And then this is the rider, the period of alchemization. All right, so I'm going to go into the book. It was just, the talisman and the Sith, the scythe, the Sith lords. That just started coming in there. We had to stop for a minute with that one. Okay. So this talisman card, the talisman card represents protection, luck, and spiritual power. It signifies the presence of a powerful charm or object that brings positive energy and wards off negative influences. I mean, some people too that are very Christian could even see that as a symbol of the cross. It suggests that the individual is surrounded by divine or supernatural support and that their intentions and endeavors are blessed. The talisman card encourages the individual, like picture the talisman as those coming down to try to help humanity. Encourages the individual to trust in their own intuition and to embrace the magical forces at play in their life. If you have encountered a person and are wondering how your fate will unfold with them when this card appears, you can confidently consider that person as your talisman. And that just felt so profound as the very, very beginning of the story of humanity. But then seeing that red jewel within there, it just feels so much like the Eye of Sauron. Scythe, number 10. I just want to say this card has come out all week for me since I got this deck, asking questions. But then the other card that has always come out with it was the Scarab. So it was like, whoa, damn. And the Karma card. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that I've been kind of like getting messages messages of, that yes, these are very bad things that cannot be avoided. However, you're okay. The sun is protected. The light cannot be hidden for long. But there are karmic energies that need to be respected. So, the scythe. This comes in after this beautiful talisman of consciousness. The scythe card is one of the negative cards in the deck, sudden and ruthless. The events depicted by this card cannot be avoided. One can only prepare for them by taking the approaching danger into account. The card points to a crisis and dangerous situations that can bring both physical and psychological pain. Additionally, this card represents abrupt changes, severance, and decisive actions. It symbolizes the need to make swift choices or cut ties that no longer serve your interests. Start acting decisively. Let go of the past. So anyways, talked about that and just even channeled between the two of them what I was feeling in that. Is this a field of poppies? Because she also has a poppies card. Or is it red roses? Certainly is the Grim Reaper though, isn't it? Okay. This labyrinth. The labyrinth card represents a complex and winding path towards a goal or resolution, right? And the scythe has already told us, you must leave the past. You must move away from it. In the context of reading, the labyrinth card could suggest a situation that requires careful navigation and perseverance. It may indicate the need to approach challenges with patience, strategy, and a willingness to explore different paths. The card reminds you to trust your intuition and to have faith that you will eventually find your way out of the maze. You need the thread of Ariadne. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Find the light in your heart. Gather confidence in your abilities and move forward. The path is long and challenging, but it is conquerable. Right? There you go. There's the whole Dorothy and a ruby slipper thing. I was like, wow, that's amazing. The rider. Okay, so what's really interesting about this is to understand this dark rider, you need to first understand the light rider. And there's the duality right there, correct? So to understand your light, you must understand your dark. To understand the dark, I must... Actually, no, it's not. Because I don't need to read the dark to understand the light in this book. But I need to read the light to understand the dark, because the dark, there's a portion of the dark rider that's mentioned at the bottom of the light rider that is not mentioned on the page of the dark rider. So if you do not understand your light, you will not find the dark. Or if you don't, if you don't explore the light, you won't understand your dark. I get lost in that one. Oh my gosh. Anya. Okay, so I just want to read this little part here. Okay, well, let you understand the light rider. In this deck, there are two cards called the rider. The names of the cards are the same, but the meanings are different. It is likely that him, is bringing positive news, as the color white symbolizes purity, tranquility, and freedom from obstacles. The direction of the horse and rider indicates that the news probably relates to some changes in the future. The second card of the rider, with a dark-haired girl on a black horse, is associated with emotions and experiences. The news most likely concerns the past and may be related to romantic experiences, those that a girl cannot let go. So I want to say this is also very symbolic of the feminine. And many, if not all, messiahs, spiritual leaders that have come to earth, have been depicted in masculine form, but really honestly, and they are so feminine in how they approach life. So, and there we see the balance, right? They hold it within them, the masculine and the feminine. And I think it's beautiful that she starts this deck with that, with the light and the dark, the yin, the yang, the masculine, the feminine. So right there, right? Like, because if I just go to this rider, the rider card represents news, messages of swift movement, bringing both opportunities and potential challenges. It signifies the arrival of significant information or the start of a new phase, urging you to remain alert and adaptable in order to navigate the changes ahead. It advises you to be prepared for change and to embrace opportunities that come on your way. Also, this card is about the fact that someone plans to come to visit you. A new person will enter your life. In psychoanalysis, the rider symbolizes eroticism and the horseback riding, sexual intercourse. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, that's interesting because then you got Target and Beltane. So it's going to be a good journey. It gets better. I want to say with the rider card, it is. It's like it gets better as you go. It gets better as you go. So there is a joining of the masculine and the feminine. But I feel like at the start of that dark rider energy, it starts here on this page, right? It starts before you realize where it is. And this is about emotions and experiences. What are the biggest things that mankind would have gone through at that point with the talisman, the scythe, the labyrinth, trying to come to terms with all of those things. And these news is concerning the past. Most of the news that we watch about anything that is in conflict in our life is coming through us through news, and it is based on past energies that are trying to be worked out. So there's the rider for you. And it's kind of funny, right? It's very, yeah, it is kind of like Sagittarian. So Target, wow. I could even like how the rider ends and then hitting this card, it could even be like a symbol of like sexual release of, I want to also say, I'm kind of getting like Kundalini energy as well. Yeah, Kundalini. Target. The Target card represents goals, ambitions, and focused efforts, right? I mean, this is what the whole thing has been about up to that point with the 4 cards leading up to this. It signifies the need for clarity and setting objectives and directing one's energy towards achieving them. This card often indicates a sense of purpose and determination, urging you to identify your targets and work diligently towards them. It suggests the need for precision, concentration, and strategic planning. Now, you can see how this is a very different way that man's mind starts to become utilized too, right? After what was sort of being dealt with and the struggle prior to it. It suggests that, the Target card reminds you to stay focused on your desired outcomes and take deliberate actions to hit your mark. But you will definitely hit the target. Success is inevitable. Like that was like, oh, that's nice. There you go. Do you see? And I mean, to me, the compass sort of symbolized that too. Well, it's kind of funny. I'm starting with the backstory, the details of that before we get in here. So yeah, it's on target. It's almost like at that point, once we come out of the rider phase and we hit the target, or we're on the approach to the target, the alchemy has succeeded. Yeah. So Beltane. Beltane is a Celtic holiday celebrated on May 1st, marking the beginning of summer. It is a time of fertility, abundance, and reawakening of nature. Beltane is associated with the Celtic god Belinus and the goddess Flora, symbolizing the union of masculine and feminine energies. The holiday is characterized by rituals such as lighting bonfires, dancing around the maypole, and the exchanging of flowers and ribbons. It is believed to be a time of increased magical energy where the veil between the human and the spiritual realms is thin. Yeah. Oh, let me look at this. Oh, what's this? Oh, this is almost like this arrow lights up the celebration. The bonfire. And there's so many souls around the fire. It's almost like this. Is this even perhaps the symbolism of a final alchemization? Like, does this fire symbolize all of the energies that have been alchemized, have been transformed, have been turned into, like, decomposed and released to the universe, right? Like I said, there was a sense here of immunity. Like, once this is accomplished, there are no steps back. And then then we go to the book, which then just suddenly feels like a new chapter. The book. The book card represents secrets, knowledge, and hidden information. It symbolizes hidden aspects of a situation or person that are yet to be revealed. I feel like it's like, you know, humanity. I mean, we're talking about humanity. There's things in here. It's like taking this out of the shelf and starting on page 1. The book card suggests the need for exploration, study, or delving into deeper understanding. It can also indicate the presence of specialized knowledge, esoteric wisdom, or a desire to uncover the truth. Isn't that in itself profound that that comes in after the Beltane card, which specifically talks about the veil being thinned? I thought, damn, this whole thing is amazing. It encourages you to seek knowledge, embrace curiosity, and be open to uncovering hidden truths or pursuing intellectual pursuits. The book card itself is neutral, not negative and not positive, rather mysterious. That too blew my mind, because to me, with this Beltane of the, and just leading up to that, that felt like was sort of talking about, you know, the polarity of the animal mind, the consciously aware mind, and the struggle of this, and the masculine, the feminine, the dark, the light, the yin, the yang, and then the target and the Beltane bringing this together in a final alchemization. And then, right, nothing is right or wrong. It is neutral. It is knowledge. This is all it is. And that, even that, to me, without knowing, right, that the Aquarian card is two down from there, and in itself feels very Aquarian. And then we get to the wine. This is where the party starts, honey. The wine. Hey, Jesus believed in wine. You know it's okay. All right. The wine card represents celebration, enjoyment, and socializing. It signifies indulgence, pleasure, and the finer things in life. This card often suggests a time of relaxation, camaraderie, and joyful gatherings. I just wanted to stop there because I felt like this card symbolized to me like peace on earth. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it just felt like peace on earth. Literally just before the Aquarian period. Or the Aquarian period is rushed in with peace on earth. It can also symbolize abundance and the fulfillment of desires. Overall, the wine card brings a sense of merriment and encourages you to savor the pleasures and joyful moments in your life. It's a wonderful time for meeting with friends, enjoying each other's company, and having fun together. Damn, man. I'm up for those lifetimes. They sound really good. Oh, hi, Larry. How you doing there, handsome? It's good? Yeah, okay. And then Aquarius, it basically just talks about Aquarius. There are zodiacs in here. And then there are also energy, like elemental cards, like air and earth. Where did Aquarius go? How did I miss you? Oh, there you are. Aquarius is an air sign known for its independence, progressive, and humanitarian nature. Individuals born under this sign are often described as unique, unconventional, and forward-thinking. Forward-thinking, that's where it's going. They possess a strong sense of individuality and are known for their innovative ideas and unconventional approach to life. Aquarians are often drawn to social causes and have a strong desire to make a positive impact on society. They also have an often overlooked sensitive side that requires appreciation, support, and love. And there you go. And I just thought it was so beautiful because it talks about, you know, the importance of individuality, but also humanitarian energy is like how you incorporate your individuality by doing good for the whole, right? For the collective. But it is not forgetting and appreciating the support that is needed in love. And then this is where, to me, I think this is very open to interpretation. Where these next 4 cards take us, it is something that closes off. I don't know. I'm guessing there's a couple thousand years or more between this Aquarian and then the coffin energy that is there. So I will read to you the coffin. The coffin card represents endings, closure, and transformation. It symbolizes the conclusion of a phase or the need to let go of certain aspects of life to make room for new beginnings. It advises the clairant to embrace the process of releasing what no longer serves them, trusting that it will lead to eventual renewal and growth. I just like, it is like what is no longer needed. It is as if in the Aquarian age, the last part of what is required in humanity's journey here comes to an end. Like, right, like that's the whole feeling too of approaching this time of thanks, of ascending away from earth, like closing that off. I'm also kind of getting, I didn't get this before, but I'm getting it now. Something too about like just through the Aquarian period, I feel like the population of humanity will just naturally and slowly decline. I'm getting that message. So yeah, the population will just naturally and slowly decline as souls ascend and do not return and incarnate here. Also, the coffin card is a symbol of loss, completion, emptiness, chronic fatigue, fears, and depression. Additionally, this card signifies illness and can indicate the physical death of a person. This is a card of closed spaces or completed cases. Well, there you go. It's like it's completed. And when he said completed cases, I almost heard like all adjourned. Like for the courtroom of humanity and earth. Like all adjourned. And then off we go into the balloon. It's just such a quiet stillness that takes place here. Like there's this merriment, the celebration, the period of Aquarius, and then it just becomes quiet and still. Like, and even to this, the card utilized here to describe elevation is very quiet compared to any other, most modes of transportation that we would associate with being able to elevate upwardly, right? So 67, the balloon. So I feel like the coffin to me is symbolizing the end of incarnation on earth here. And it was just like, just now with you guys, this sort of channeled message of the population slowly and naturally declining as souls no longer incarnate. I kind of wonder if this is also symbolizing like the tower to me in this, the castle in this balloon card as a place of waiting. You know, if souls go there to wait until the entire collective has returned. The balloon card represents freedom, upliftment, and the potential for expansion. It signifies a sense of lightness, joy, and the possibility of reaching new heights. This card suggests that it might be a time for you to let go of burdens, rise above limitations, and embrace a more optimistic outlook. It just felt like to me too, it's like the soul rising out of the coffin. It encourages you to dream big, have faith in your aspirations, and allow yourself to be carried by the winds of inspiration. The card reminds you that by embracing a sense of adventure and embracing the opportunities that come your way, you can experience a greater sense of fulfillment and joy in life. I want to say that I feel like on a soul sense, there will be even some, perhaps, feeling of nostalgia through this coffin period to the balloon. And I just feel like this castle in the balloon card is like where the souls they're all taking their turn up to the castle. I wonder even if this tower even symbolizes, you know, like souls sitting there And they're slowly, just as slowly as they all progressed into the tower, they all recede out of the tower and go into new incarnations in different places, to the point where the tower is almost empty and it becomes a place of isolation. Mabon, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mabon? 104 comes in after we take the balloon to the castle. Mabon is a Celtic holiday celebrated on the fall equinox, typically around September 21st. It marks the balance between day and night and the beginning of the harvest season. Even that card is like harvesting the souls, right? The balance between... Wow, that's fascinating, isn't it? Because this is the other side, right? Is the winter solstice, that is also the balance between... Oh, no, that's not. That is the shift from greatest darkness to like light growing again. So yeah, I forget what I was saying there. Between day and night and the beginning of the harvest season. Mabon is named after the Welsh god Mabon ap Madron, who symbolizes the harvest and the cycle of life. The holiday is a time of gratitude for the abundance of the earth and the fruits of the harvest. It is often celebrated with feasting, rituals, and offerings to honor the bountiful gifts of nature. Like this to me too is the part where I did describe in there. I just felt very much so like there was honor given to earth in some way here. I want to say Mabon. Mabon represents a time of reflection, balance, and the preparation for the approaching darkness of winter. So I found that really interesting, because then we go into this tower where it is a period of isolation, but that, like, looking at both of those, to me, it just felt like a birth canal. Like, where does the soul go? And maybe it's not told here, maybe because souls will take different journeys. As I said, it's as if we all get together in the castle in kind of our own time through the Aquarian period. And then once all souls have gathered, there is a final thanks. And I feel like, oh wait, I have this in the wrong order. There's a final thanks. But where? Just to prepare for darkness of winter, which is also, to me, it is like the seed sits and rests until it is spring to grow again. And I kind of feel like, because it left open-ended, that, you know, well, it depends. There isn't an answer at that point, because you're all from Earth and maybe you're not all going to the same places after. I don't know. The Tower card represents isolation, solitude, and boundaries. So these could even be like soul agreements that maybe perhaps even occur in the balloon stage of the symbolism of the castle, the great gathering, and boundaries in terms, my soul is going to choose this journey. And maybe someone that you journeyed a lot with in lifetimes on Earth is choosing a different path. It signifies a sense of being separate or withdrawn from others. Again, right? Look at this. It's like, to me, this feels like the collective. It all comes together again. All the souls return. But it's just almost a never-ending expansion to higher frequency experiences in different universes until it's all returned to source again, all of us. Okay, so withdraw from others, often due to self-imposed limitations or a need for personal space. The Tower card can also indicate institutions, bureaucracy, or established structures in society. So because we're talking about man's spiritual journey, and at this point where it is, I feel like these are kind of like the laws of the heavens, the laws of the universe here that do need to be respected. It suggests the need to create healthy boundaries in your life, to take time for introspection, and to evaluate the structures or systems that may be influencing your experiences. Again, it is as if the soul deciding, where shall I go now? What is my next path? Set boundaries for your interests and take time to rest alone in order to replenish your energy. And that is where we go. That's the whole thing. And as I was saying, well, I want to do the compass and the Yule for you, but I feel like mankind is somewhere in the labyrinth. Again, right? That's only 3 cards in. So it is, but there's, I feel like though it's one of those things where it's like pushing a rock, a boulder up a hill, up a mountain. It's literally the longest part of the journey. Like, let's say it's a 2-year journey to do that. It takes 2 years to do it. It feels like getting that rock, like this period here, and getting yourself, humanity getting themselves out of the labyrinth. I feel like that's probably like a 1.5 years of the 2-year period. It's just, it is the part that feels long. It's the part that feels hard. But then once you're almost at the top, like to me, this, I feel like, oh, and that would make sense too, that the labyrinth, once it is the light within the heart that shines, that is seen by everyone within themselves, that's like the top of the this mountain. And I don't feel like it's just like rolling out of control though. It's just like you get there and it almost is just like a really gentle incline moving towards more positive energies. And in that, I almost see like this rider is removing things. Like you could imagine the cape, the harness from the horse, the saddle, like everything just being taken away as it moves, and then it's right on target. Like you can't, there's nothing blocking it at that point to me when you get to the rider and the target. Yeah, so I kind of see mankind there at some point in the labyrinth. I think we're all sort of at slightly different stages. But I don't think any of us, I think whoever would, maybe you could, if there was one person on the planet that we could describe as the most ascended, compared to the person who is the least ascended, I feel like they're still, though, they're all still somehow in the same area. Like it's not that far from each other, even though it could seem significantly far. Like if you were just to look at the surface. Because I also do feel like a lot of souls are affected by like environments that they are in as well. Because when you change an environment, you can dramatically change a direction. So compass is where humanity is going. The compass card represents direction, guidance, and navigation. It signifies a need for clarity in finding your true path in life. This card suggests the importance of making conscious choices, setting goals, and staying focused on your desired direction. It encourages trusting your inner compass, seeking guidance from mentors or trusted sources, and embracing a sense of purpose and direction in your journey. I should be right, like that, just right there. It talks, that's the talisman energy. And then staying on focus to me is like the rider into the target, coming out of the labyrinth, like persevering. Take a look at adjacent cards. They can give you an idea of your direction and destination. Isn't that interesting? Going into Yule. So, all right. It's pretty much telling me what I was asking for. It's like, well, look at the card beside it, Cindy, and you'll have your answer. Okay. Yule is a Celtic holiday celebrated during the winter solstice, typically falling between December 20th and 23rd. It marks the shortest day and longest night of the year. Yule is associated with the rebirth of the sun and the return of the light. Do you remember one of the things that I said here? Every time that scythe card was coming out all week when I was pulling questions, the scarab would come too. It was like, no, don't worry. Yule is associated with the rebirth of the sun and the return of light. It is a time of celebration, feasting, and exchanging gifts. Yule traditions often include lighting candles, decorating evergreen trees, and gathering around a Yule log to bring warmth and light into the darkness of winter. Right? It is to bring warmth and light into the darkness of a winter period. It is a festive occasion that honors nature, the changing seasons, and the cycle of life. I thought, oh my God, such a beautiful message. And that's what I have. So I'm done. I'm like so done. It's just so much. It's so much for one little person. So there you go. I hope like you enjoyed and, you know, as I said, I'm going to pin, first comment is going to be a link to Anya's Etsy page. It's just a beautiful deck. I absolutely love it. I will not be using it for just regular tarot readings on my channel. This deck has got something else here going for it. I would like to continue to explore things like greater questions of humanity and even like timely messages in regards to things that may be occurring in our world. But I don't feel comfortable exploring it on YouTube. So I don't know, you can put in the comments if there's anything that you suggest beyond a Patreon. I'm not happy with Rumble. I know like some people think I feel like it's kind of like the polar opposite of even YouTube. I have difficulty with it. I find it blocks people's comments and stuff sometimes, and I don't know why. I don't see anything wrong with the comment. And then I've tried uploading stuff there again recently, and everything was fine. And all of a sudden it was like they were holding on to my videos. They weren't letting them display or be seen for like days and days on end. And I thought, I don't understand. Like, what is going on? Just anyways. But so anyways, that's that. I'm going to continue with my regular scheduled programming. And I hope that is a message that can help you, find hope in dark times as well. Thank you very much, guys. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.